Hey guys, how you doing? This is JP Saricolia. Welcome again to another episode of my podcast, HF Heroes. It's a pleasure to talk to you and that you listen to my voice. Today I want to talk about something that I've been thinking for quite a while, something that it might be a bit controversial to some, but of course I say this with the utmost respect. I'm not here to offend anyone, but I feel that it needs to be said and needs to be someone needs to say it. Someone at least needs to express how I feel from my point of view, and I think represents the point of view of a lot of people. And I want to talk about the Arrowverse, and I want to use that as an example here. The Arrowverse is, if you follow the CW, DC shows, you have Arrow, you have Flash, you have Legends of Tomorrow, you have, the Black Lightning, you also have, Supergirl, so all the shows, which, I have enjoyed the shows greatly, particularly since Arrow came out. My favorites, of course, is Arrow and The Flash. I really like those. I think those are the top favorites, perhaps, for everyone else. Everything else kind of comes after it. I really enjoy, watching Arrow. I really enjoy watching Flash. I think they're really good, well-made shows. But there's something that really bothers me about the shows. And it's something that is, after time passes by, after seasons passes by, and after storylines come and go, I'm sorry, it feels that they are pushing towards LGBT agenda more and more and more and more. And like I said earlier, I've said this with with respect. I'm not trying here to offend anyone. Every person, I have a lot of friends, and everyone has a different stand in regards to it. I'm a person that believes in social justice. I believe that every person needs to be respected. I believe that every person deserves to be heard and, to have the freedom to express themselves and to live the life they choose. I have no problem with that. I believe that should be the case. My biggest problem with this shows is the constant that they bring this to the forefront no matter what. Whatever situation happens, everything happens. You have an episode turns into more like pretty much a sexual orientation type of class where they're trying to teach you what we should accept as a society as the norm. And I feel that that's, first of all, disrespectful to every person that is watching the show. Yes, some people might agree with it. Some people might be happy with it. But in my personal opinion, I didn't came to this show to be taught about LGBT rights or what it means to be gay or what it means to have that life choice. Every person, like I said, is entitled to their life choice, and you have to follow it. I follow these heroes beyond the sexual orientation. It's more about the gender. I'm not the type of person that I would say that I'm pro this or pro that. I'm always in the middle. I'm very independent in the way I'm thinking. I believe in conservative values. I grew up in a conservative home. I'm a Christian, so I believe in marriage as a man and a woman, and I believe in the children grow better in an environment. And not saying that all families are okay, but in a healthy environment where the father is a father and the mother is a mother, and they both follow the roles as they should. And I believe this from my own personal experience as a biblical presence. I'm blessed that I grew up in a home where my parents weren't perfect, but my parents were loving and they did their best, my dad and my mom. And I grew up in a very sheltered home per se. But I know that a lot of people didn't have that opportunity, which is it's sad, but it's the truth of our society. And not every man is a good father. Not every woman is a good mother. That's besides the point. But I believe that we should respect that. Now, I do believe that some people make a choice in their lives to follow what they feel more comfortable with. If you are, and I say this with respect, if you decide to follow, your own heart, and you are gay, and you love that, in this case, you like people of your same gender, I'm okay with it. I respect you. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to say you are bad. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just here to say, I care, I love you, and I respect your decision to live that life. It is your life, and I'm nobody to tell you how to live your life and how to feel, and, how you love and who you love. It is your choice, and we should respect it, and I think that society should respect it. However, my problem is not with that. My problem is when this becomes the norm, in the sense of in social media or entertainment. I'm not saying that that's the norm. What I'm saying is it becomes the norm just to pander to people, to throw that constantly as an attack. And it comes across more as a forceful intervention rather than a peaceful protest. You know what I mean? It feels that way. And it's just sad when the show, not only one show, every single show, it's just all about that, you know, and the storylines are revolve around it. And I see that because now, for example, the daughter, Nora, the daughter of Barry Allen, and in this case, the Flash, it comes out that she is, she's gay, you know, and not only that, the son of Arrow is gay, starting to be gay. So we see that on the forefront, you know, they flirt with each other, they sleep with each other. And we saw that in Legends of Tomorrow. You saw that, you know, constant in every one, there's a character that does that. And I feel that not only that it does it as a service to the show, because then it becomes just the center. And the problem is that in every single episode, they throw a scene where they have to do that. In my opinion, it is distasteful and it's out of place. And most of the time it's just forced into the scene, or forced into the show, and rather than just letting the show kind of flow naturally. You know, this is the great part, what I always love about the old comics, you know, and these are based on comics. I love the old comics because, yes, there was sometimes some maybe romance relationships, and some heroes, they give you a hint that they were kind of, you know, in this case, gay, or, you know, the word that was used before, queer, which nowadays is not a political correct word to say. So they were a bit strange. You saw people, even in Batman, like some characters in Batman, even Batman was considered at some point that he was gay, because the truth of the matter is that he was never into any relationship with no one. Back in the 70s or even in the 80s, he was no relationship, you know, to people. And they left it like that. You know, they left it kind of for you to kind of discover, to know if he was gay. Of course, you know, he's running around with a kid all the time. But the truth of the matter is that it was okay. You know, because at the end of the day, you know, I was not concerned about his sexual life or sexual orientation. I was more concerned about his stand as a man, as a person, and what he believed on and what he cared about. And that made him special. And that make him different, regardless of whatever he did in his private life, you know. And that's the part where I feel that the story should be and concentrate on those traits on the characters, not more about the sexual orientation. Yes, some characters are written to be gay, and that's okay, and they're gay, and you see that in the stories. Some characters are more asexual, or you know, sometimes they might be a bit more strange in their sexuality, which is okay. Every person is different. I believe that we have to respect all of those things, but at the same time, it shouldn't be like shoehorn all the time into you for you to accept it, you know, because then you're forced to accept something that you don't care about, or you're not really as concerned about. And that, you know, I'm okay with characters being gay. I'm okay with the, you know, LGBT rights. You know, I respect that. I believe that it's okay. But you know, it's okay for them to believe what they believe and to, you know, to accept it. But I don't want to be forced to accept their lifestyle. You know, and I don't need to be forced to accept the lifestyle. I only have to do is respect it. And that's all I need to do. You know, I don't need to, you know, to believe it and say, oh, yeah, I embrace people for who they are. When I look at you, and I'm saying this, I don't want, like I said, don't misunderstand me. When I look at you, whatever your choice of life is, whether you are gay, whether you're bisexual, whether you just don't like the physical contact, I'm going to embrace you. And I'm, you know, embrace you in a way that, for you to be accepted, because I care about you as a person. I don't care about your sexual orientation. The same way I don't care if you like vanilla or you like chocolate ice cream. The same way I don't care if you like blue over red color, or you're a Sony fan, or you are an Xbox fan, or you are a Republican, or you're a Democrat. I don't care, because what I care is about you as a person. And how you feel about things in life. And yes, you have your ways, you know, and you have things that I might not agree on, and I'm okay with that. The problem is when you try to force me to believe you or to accept you, and, you know, which I already do, but you force me to accept your lifestyle as the norm. And that's different. I think that's the thing where I feel that there has to be a line that needs to be written, that needs to be drawn on the line, which we have to know respect. And that's something that is happening nowadays everywhere. You know, this is the part. I like the shows. I really care about the shows. I really love watching them. But when they start doing that, it really throws me off to the point that I just say, you know what, this is not for me. I don't want to watch something that it just constantly shoehorning this just for me to accept it as the norm, instead of just simply just playing the scene, just doing the play, just doing the shows, the episodes, just rolling with the story. I watch the superheroes for what they stand. I watch the superhero stories for what they stand as, helping people regardless, regardless of the situation. And it's becoming more and more apparent that what these shows are doing is just trying to ponder and trying to, shoehorn this into our society more and more and more. And they become pretty much like voices in the desert, yelling and screaming and saying, you are not normal if you don't accept the way things are. And the truth of the matter is that, I'm sorry, we are normal. I am a normal person. I made my choices in life. I marry my wife. I have a kid. Those are my choices. I'm not wrong for making that choice. I did what is normal and natural, ultimately, that's the only way kids come to the world, between a man and a woman. That's bottom line. There's no other, there's no other gender. Yes, there's a third gender. There's only two genders, male and female. That's just natural. That's just biology. That's the nature of the world. That's the nature of things. There's no third gender. I'm sorry. There is a choice that you made, which is okay if you made that choice. I respect it, but nothing is going to happen. You're not going to have kids. Whether the medicine changes to the point that they allow for men to be pregnant again, it's fine. Or women to be able to procreate without the help of a man. You never know what the future will bring with science. But the natural way is the natural way, and it doesn't change, and again, I'm saying this not because I want to offend, and I know probably some of you already got offended by what I said, but, we have to be realistic, what I like about some shows, I see Netflix shows. There is some sexualization of some of the characters. Yes, there is. Some are gay, which it happened. But at least I felt that they managed it in a much better light. So even some of the gay characters on the, like I saw on The Flash, or some of these characters, on Daredevil, and some of the characters there and the whole Marvel Netflix show, which are gay, but they managed it in a way which kind of made sense. So it was respected, and it was not forceful. So I accepted because it was there. Those characters are portrayed that way, and it's fine. But what I feel with what Flash is doing, or Arrow is doing, and now with Batgirl, all of that is they shoehorning all of that. They're pushing it in your face and say, this is the life that you need to live, and this is the choices that you need to make, and this is life, and you have to accept it. And I feel that that's the wrong approach. Not every person is gay in the world. And not every person is heterosexual in the world. That's the bottom line. We need to respect each person, and we need to make shows that are more gender neutral. That's my opinion. And maybe this will solve the big problem. Just make the shows gender neutral. Just present the shows as what they stand for: justice, for, to helping people, whatever their choices are, and just live with that, just be like that. Like the comics have done for so many years. There was this code. Sometimes people hated the code of authority because they didn't allow you to do certain things. But I believe that the best stories in this era, that era, where the comics overall were during that banner, under that time, under the code authority supervision. Some of the best stories were written during that time because, there was a time where you couldn't say much. There's a lot of things that there were some subjects that you couldn't talk about. So you have to work and be very smart how to hint them. You hint them that in the stories. Some of the characters there were already gay. But they were never presented as such. They were just hinted. So in this case, the producers, the writers, the directors, the editors, even the pencilers, drawers, everyone has to work around it. They were given a set of rules that they have to kind of follow. Unscripted rules, many of them, but within those parameters, they were able to build stories that were meaningful, and yes, sometimes they kind of went a little farther, but they kind of pushed, or they hinted that a character was gay, that was homosexual, and that they left it like that, just for you to think about it. And that was all you needed to do. But in Disney shows, they're not giving you the hint, because now we live in a world where the comics really went bad. As soon as the core authority, was kicked out, now everyone can do whatever. So because there are no limitations, people just like whatever comes out of their bags, they just throw it at you. Whatever comes out of them, and then you throw it at you. And that was it. There was now that there's no limitations, people can create whatever they want. But you can see that sometimes even rules makes us better as people, even as creators, because we're limited. So we have to come up with ideas how to present a story within those limitations. And I feel that the stories now lack, because now pretty much writers are given the free will or the free, permission. They're given the permit to do whatever they want to do. And sometimes they don't even do a good of a job. And that's the reason why comic books are suffering today, because the stories are poorly written, poorly created. It's all about giving all the social agenda possible to you, throw it at you so you can accept it, and whatever sticks, it's just bad, and the same things that now shows are kind of doing the same thing. They're following the same term. They just throwing it at you, whatever sticks. They throw everything at you. There's no regulation. There's none anything. As long as your network backs you up, and you can do whatever and talk about the subject. It changes everything. And a story that should be more about the superhero, what they stand for, about values that are important, go beyond sex, go beyond gender, values of honor, respect, justice. Those are values that every person, regardless of their sex or, sexual orientation, they can accept. Beyond that, it's just about the sexual part. It's about the physical part. It's about those things that reality are not as important. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we cannot make division or separation of people. We have to accept us all as who we are. At the end of the day, doesn't matter if you like men or women. It doesn't matter if you are homosexual or not, or heterosexual. At the end of the day, you are a human being. And there are things that we care about. We care about love, and love. And when we're talking about sexual love, we're talking about loving people, caring for people. We're talking about love that goes beyond just sexual love. The physical love, because you can have sex with somebody and still not love that person. And that's what the difference is. Sex is more, love is more than sex. And sex is just a physical contact with somebody that you care about or you love about. And sometimes you don't even have to care about someone just to have sex. So we need to make the difference, and that distinction between sexual orientation and what it means to be human. Whether you are this or you're that, you're a human being. And shows should stand for those values. The most important value of being human, to respect each other, not to force us to believe or accept somebody else's beliefs. So, and that goes both ways. So this is just my opinion, of course. I'm sorry if I offended anyone. I'm not here to do that. But I'm here to share how I feel about certain things. So once again, thanks for listening. Thanks for following this podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're following me on YouTube. If you hear my podcast, share my podcast to other friends, so you can spread the word. Don't forget, if you are interested, you can also support this channel, support my podcast through my Patreon account. The link is down below. So take care, my friends. God bless you, and I'll see you again. Bye-bye.